The thing that they don't tell you is that often things do look worse before they look better when you're attempting to manifest, co-create, call into this realm the things that you desire. Florence Scovel would have said it as it's darkest before the dawn, but you don't hear that a lot in the co-creation community. But yeah, on day 9 of my manifesting fast, let's get into it. All right, friends, I am Dr. Stephanie Sinclair. I am a neurometaphysicist, and I help people just like you take the science and the spiritual, bring them together to completely simplify co-creating at its best. I'm a believer in subconscious reprogramming and moving into the quantum realm you desire, and not really that we are creating from thin air, that everything we desire absolutely already exists. We just have to move into the realm in which it is. And currently, I am fasting. So you may find this like just on your For You page. You may find it in the fasting playlist, but wherever you find it, today we're going to talk about persisting and why persisting really is important when you're doing these longer term manifestation projects. I am a fan of things that I can see happen like that, right? And partly because I'm a fast action girly. I like things that kind of keep me going, things that kind of encourage me along the way. It's why with the bigger projects, if you are beginning with the end in mind and you don't pay attention to what's happening in the middle, it can seem like nothing is happening. And so usually I like to have like these little things, just, you know, co-create the most random things during the day to kind of keep me going and persisting on this process. But as you know, I am on a fast for a month. I am fasting from sun up to sundown because fasting is extremely powerful for your manifestation. I'll put a link to the video about that here somewhere, or you can find it in the description box. And on day 9, I'm going to say something that I would not normally say if I was not creating content and wanted to share with you guys. I would not even acknowledge this state, but it's important to, because people don't often talk about the fact that, as Florence Scovel said in The Game of Life and How to Play It, it is often darkest before the dawn. And you may look up and it looks like your manifestation and what you are moving into is going to crap. 9 days ago, when I started, you know, I started because things were looking a little, and I have to say, it's gotten darker. And this is really where the power of persistence has to come in. And I'm only sharing that with you because it is my 3D reality, which I choose not to acknowledge most of the time. But I don't want you to think you're on this journey and it's just you when you're manifesting and moving into the realm where XYZ is real for you, but it seems like you're moving further away. And what's wrong with me? And why is this not working, baby doll? It's not you. Often it's darkest before the dawn, because all of the programming and subconscious beliefs up until this point, now that you are consciously spending extended periods of time on a new mental diet, all those old things are coming to roost and they are showing up. And baby, I've had my moments. And I'm very well aware that when you have those moments, now you got to put in more time for the mental diet, kind of make up for the time you've spent. But the reality is we're not perfect. No one is. The goal is to have more time spent in the state desired than time spent in the state that you do not desire. That is the goal. And so I just want to come and bring you encouragement during this time. If you are finding yourself feeling like it's gotten darker, if you are finding yourself feeling like WTF, if you are finding yourself really not understanding why it feel like all hell has broken loose around your manifestation. And baby, on today, March 19th, I can tell you. But what I know is it seem like. I know it's the realm in which I am, and I am moving into the realm where everything I desired is already laid out and waiting for me. And I'm holding to that. And so that means I actually did give myself a moment to feel. I didn't cry, but I gave myself a moment to feel. I gave myself a moment to sit in WTF. I gave myself that moment, and then I took a nap because I would much rather be asleep than to be awake. And especially if I feel like I am not really handling my thought, like I'm in the wrong space. And so I have several things that I'll do. I'll take a nap, I'll do breath work, I'll go into meditation, but my runny squirrely brain was not helping me out very much. So I took a nap. And when I woke up, I was like, all right, you got this, boo. You got this. And I went right back into my mental diet. I turned right back on my videos. I turned on subliminals. I started staying focused on what it is that I desire. And then when I found that difficult, I focused on the things in my life that are working out for me right now. I completely moved my thought process. And sometimes I don't think we acknowledge enough that sometimes in that moment, it's difficult to stay in the state desired. It's difficult to stay in what you know is the truth when you're seeing something else in your 3D reality in the realm you're in. And what we don't talk about enough is it's safer to move into something else. So I started focusing on work, and I started focusing on things that I'm doing, and I created a training to go on my app, and I started focusing on something that works well for me and it's great. And I feel good in that space. And you know what? Stephanie feels good. Right. And from that space, I was able to come back and think about what it is that I'm working on and working through. And I feel better now in that space, but I had to move into a space where things were working well for me. And sometimes that means in the moment, you have to completely come off topic of what it is you're looking to move into. You have to completely go into a different subject. You have to completely focus on something else where you find joy. My phone been on do not disturb for 2 days, for 2, because I don't want to be moved. I want nobody to ask me about nothing. I want nobody to be like, nope. I saw a message come through from someone who triggering, boop, took it off my main screen. Those are the things that you have to be willing to do for your manifestation. You have to be willing to say, as opposed to me staying here and right now, I can't find a better feeling thought about this. And right now, I don't feel good. And right now, all I feel is hurt or pain or shame or whatever the emotion is that does not connect to something that's creating. You need to move to a completely different subject where things are working. And so that really worked for me. So I spent about an hour really digging into my work, really doing things that felt good to me. And then I came back and was like, girl, you got this. It's the same, like, it's a moment. All is well. You are good. And then I could get back in space. But we have to be willing to persist. And sometimes in that persistence, it is moving your thoughts completely from that. I remember the first time I heard this, actually, it was from Abraham Hicks. And I used to be a big Abraham Hicks person. I have several of the books. I've been to several of the live events. And one of the things that Abraham would often talk about is moving into a better feeling thought on the emotional guidance scale. And if you can't think about cats and dogs, little kitties and puppies, if you can't just find something that feels good to you. And so in the name of persistence, yes, persist in what it is that you are manifesting, but really what you're persisting in is a good feeling thought. What you're persisting in is being on an emotional scale where your manifestation is. And your manifestation is on an emotional scale of joy and happiness and fulfillment and even contentment, and not of sadness and disappointment and, frustration. And so if you're staying there looking for a better feeling thought and you're struggling, like getting out of the mud, just change the subject. Because even if you're focused on business, and even if you're focused on your kids, or even if you're focused on whatever it is that feels good to you, your relationship, whatever it is, if on an emotional scale, on a frequency scale, it lives in the space where your manifestation is, you still good. And so I want to encourage you to persist in that way, as opposed to forcing through these thoughts and forcing to affirm when in the moment what you are feeling does not match what you're saying. Now there is a feeling of lack there. Let's just get away from that subject altogether, and then you won't be in the feeling of lack. You're in the feelings of abundance thereof, of what it is that you desire, because you're on that emotional regulation scale. I hope that makes sense to you. So I wanted to bring you the conversation of persistence from a very different place than I've ever heard it being taught and spoken about, because people are like, just persist, that thing is yours, just persist. And yeah, but in the moment, when your emotions are caught up, all you're doing is creating more distance. So your persistence needs to be based on what I desire. What else exists in that I already feel amazing with? Let's go over there and play for a little while. Let's enjoy doing something over there for a little while, right? It may mean, you getting up, leaving your home. You may love doing art. You may have to dig into like a hobby of yours at home. For me, like, I love my work. I love what I do. And like, even making this video, like, this is fun for me. Like, it feels good to be able to share with you things that I have learned that have helped me on my process. And that feels good. And when it feels good, that means it's in the emotional regulation scale of that which I desire. So I'm still in the same lane of what it is that I am co-creating. So try that, and don't be discouraged when it looks like things are worse than they started out, because it's a seem like. It's just an illusion. Things are better. You have exactly what it is you desire. You have the career, you have the clients, you have the money, you have the love, you have the home, you have the vacations, you have the health, you have the body, you have everything that you desire. It is just a seem like, but keep persisting. If you are on the app, the Your Rich Life app, if you are a quantum member, what I uploaded was a little training and audio around breath work and how I use breath work in order to regulate my emotions and my nervous system, which is huge part of why I'm able to stay as calm as I typically do. And so go over there and check that out. It's a short audio, but I put like a how-to situation, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how you do it, and how many times a day you need to do it in order to regulate your emotions, calm your nervous system, and ensure your body is not in fight or flight. And in that fight or flight anxious mode, we are not co-creating anything we desire. We are co-creating, but it's not what we want, boo. Okay. I hope that was helpful for each and every one of you. Until next time.